Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. This is Jasmita and here we talk about all good things. Oh my god, so much glare going on. No. Woohoo! Hello there. Okay, so I just woke up a while back and I so wanted to do this video because I completed reading this particular book last night and I'm so excited to talk about it. By the way, it's raining bad, so you might be able to hear all of it. Not that my videos are amazingly good with sound either, so anyway, so if you're someone who likes to read books or would want to try out and read another new book, well, a kind of recommendation, then please keep watching this video. And if you are someone who's not interested in books and stuff, then you might want to switch this off right now, or rather you might just want to check out my other videos. I'm gonna put down links somewhere. So the book that I'll be talking today about is called The Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. She's an amazing novelist of Indian origin and I absolutely adore the way she writes and layers her characters. I read her latest book, which was released early this year. It's called Before We Meet the Goddesses. I had got it as a kind of gift from a very good friend of mine, and once I read that, I was like glued. I was like, I want to read some of her other stories or other novels as well. And I happened to find this with one of my friends. Well, this does not belong to me. It's something that I just got from a friend while I was talking about how impressed I was with Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni's latest book. And then she said, wait, I've got The Palace of Illusions, you might just want to read that. And I was like, okay, yeah, for sure, I would. And then she told me that this is something to do with Mahabharata. Well, this is basically... Okay, so let's get into it. If I tell you in a gist, then this book is about the Mahabharata, the epic, of course, but it is written from the eye of Draupadi. So it's basically Draupadi's Mahabharata. So now, most of us, I'm sure, if you're from India, then I'm sure you already know about Mahabharata. That has a lot of stories, myths. Okay, I would put it as mythology. I don't know if I should categorize it as mythology also, because those were, in those times, the kind of storyline this has where the humans meet goddesses and like the humans meets the gods, and some part of it is very mystical, some is very some are like myth, some might be true stories. Like no one knows, the mystery about mythology and this genre of books. So yes, this is what it is. Now, what do I like in this book? First, let me just get it clear that, this is something, just my opinion. This is what I felt after reading the book. So I just wanted to share with you guys. Okay, I'm a highly emotional person who gets, and a very anxious one as well. So when I read certain books, I get affected. I get badly affected. So this is one such book which after reading, I was like, I need to talk about it. What you read is, from the birth of Draupadi, like she was given to Draupad Raja as when he prayed and he wanted a son, and when there was a yagna that was done and the son was pushed out of fire, like he came out of fire, and along with him comes a daughter which he never expected, and she turns out to be Draupadi. So as Mahabharata goes, this book has all these stories and all the incidents that's very critical or crucial for the entire Mahabharata. But the beautiful thing about this is when I remember seeing Mahabharata as a series when we were kids, and later on, of course, I've read it as well, but then we never thought that how, because Mahabharata is all about, mainly all about Pandavas and the Kauravas. But while watching it or while reading Mahabharata, actually it never struck me that how the ladies in the entire epic must be thinking. How was, what was Kunti's reaction, what Gandhari had in her mind, or maybe, what Shubhadra must have been thinking, how was Uttara going through the pain. These never struck me when I was reading or when I had watched Mahabharata. But when I got this book in my hand, I was like, oh my God, somebody has actually thought of writing Mahabharata from one of these women, very powerful women characters. And I was like delighted. So yes, that's one beautiful thing where you get to see and feel what the women went through. Certain things that I think are like highlights of this particular book is as I was saying, all the crucial incidents of this entire epic has all been mentioned, but in such a situational way, like you don't expect them coming. It's like so beautifully situationally done that you actually appreciate it, and you're like, oh my god, this happened, this just happened, and we have to deal with it. It's that kind of a thing. Because I remember when I was reading Abhimanyu's part, when he gets into the Chakravyuh, like we all know that, what's going to happen to Abhimanyu. He's going to die. He will not be able to come out of the Chakravyuh. But when I was reading it, I had like, my hands were like trembling. And after that part when he dies, it's like how Uttara, his wife, who was carrying his unborn child, who later on, who later on is Pratik, one of the most... one of the most fair kings of all times. So yeah, so the way Uttara felt, how much she was in love with Abhimanyu, and what she felt at his death, and how she turned out to be such a strong woman later, these are things we probably never even imagined, and this is so beautifully put. Then if I'm like, let's get to Draupadi now. Okay, so from the time she was born, she knew that she was this unwanted kid, but was given the luxury was given the luxury that her father thought she needed, but she was much more than that. She was born to make history, or rather to change history. All her childhood she was given the luxury and of but she never felt a part of everything that she was in, if you know what I mean. And so yes, from that time to how Swayamvar is arranged for her, and she ends up marrying all the 5 Pandavas, and then then they lose their kingdom and they go to the forest. Her amazing friendship with Krishna, and how Krishna had helped them build this palace of illusion with the help of Maya, and again Duryodhan, he plays his tricks along with Shakuni, and they lose it all, and that's when they decide on the war. So 2 things here. The way Krishna's character is written, it's so beautiful. From the beginning till the end, that Krishna is someone who is there in her life all the time, but not very powerfully. And at the end, you realize that he was the most powerful person in her life. And it is so pretty way. It's written so beautifully, I cannot even tell you. You'll love Krishna even more. And yes, there's also this angle where, she is in love with one of these men who was one of the main enemies of her husband's, but she had loved him always, like always, till her last breath, or even more. So I'm not going to give that out, because this is something that came like a surprise to me, but the angle was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Maybe at the end what happens, so that's a little filmy and could have been done without. But apart from that, I think whatever the way the characters, the way this man's character has also been layered or has been put across the book is really very, very fine. Now coming to my favorite character, okay, I love Karna. I love Karna always, from day one, from the time I know Mahabharata. And like I was just telling this friend of mine the other day that, how I think that Karna is like the most loyal character that I've ever seen. And then he was like, do you think you're giving it out to Karna way too easily? Because he had nothing called integrity. It struck me, but I guess so. I don't know. I love his loyalty, and that is the kind of loyal person I would want in my life, in the form of a friend, in the form of anybody. Like, I just love Karna, and the way he dealt with life. And even at the last scene when he dies and he's like joining his hands, which Pandavas think that he's asking for mercy, but actually he's just asking for forgiveness. Oh, breaks my heart. I was like crying when Karna died. I was like crying, like, when I was reading the book. So yes, I just love his character. Anyway, so that is mainly how it is from the time Draupadi was born till the time, how her entire journey in life, and at the end how even she dies, and even at her death, who is there by her. So that entire thing, and it has beautiful subtleties about, how she feels unloved throughout her life in various situations, and she wants that, the kind of the kind of love she wants, she never gets it. But at the end, she realizes that she's been loved divinely. So yeah, I think that's like so nice and very well put. And of course there are times like no one's perfect, and she was again another human being who wasn't perfect. So she had her times of jealousy towards like, you know, Arjun's other wives, and how she felt that kind of bitterness towards her mother-in-law Kunti in certain situations, and how she has been very instrumental, and how she's been manipulative to make to make the war, you know, that the war that finally happened at Kurukshetra. So how she was manipulative and instrumental in that, and how she was selfish at times. I mean, it's so real. It's like any one of us. Like, you know, we also have all these flavors as human beings. That makes us humans, right? So yes, and how she pays for it at the time of death, or maybe how she's been paying for it all her life. It's a very strong, a very she's a very wise, strong and beautiful woman in her own way, and I totally adore the way her character has been painted or written in here. So yes, that's basically it. It's a lovely book, guys. If you are fond of this kind of genre, even if you're not fond or haven't read this kind of genre much, I would say please go ahead and read this. This is really good. But then there's just one little thing that I would want to add, one little thing from the last page. So yeah, this is something that is going to stay with me for very long, so I just wanted to read this out to you guys. At his touch, something breaks. A chain that was tied to the woman shape crumpled on the snow below. I am buoyant and expansive and uncontainable, but I always was so, only I never knew it. I am beyond name and gender and the imprisoning patterns of ego, and yet, for the first time, I am truly Panchali. I haven't been doing much of book videos, and like not all my book videos are going to be like reviews, or they're not the typical reviews, or not really absolute reading sessions or something. This is something that I'll just share with you that like, you know, touches my heart. Like I always do, things that I like, I always like to share it with you guys. So yes, this is one book that's really touched me very hard, and I think that all of you should read it. I mean, it's a beautiful read, and it also gives you a lot of insights of Mahabharata in short, so you get to know all the important stories of it, and you get to read it like in short. Otherwise Mahabharata is like a very big book. So yeah, in short, you get to know it in a very crisp and in a very beautiful way. So kudos to the author, novelist. I think she's amazing. And with that, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Do not forget to share this with your friends and family, because I think books are one of these most powerful things in this entire whole world. So yeah, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel to see these kind of videos, or many more. Basically, I do all videos that I want to do. So yeah. So do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to put down the details of my other social media platforms. If you want to connect there, please do. I mean, I'm going to love to see you guys there as well. And oh my god, have I been wearing this all like this? Okay. So yeah, that's it. Hasta la vista.